What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Living Free channel. My name is Tyler Freed, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the importance of sticking with your trucking job, sticking with the company you start with, sticking with a company that you find and that you like. And why am I going to be talking about that? Well, because I did have a conversation with a subscriber, a guy that did come over to Crete, and from watching my channel. He did decide to come over to Crete from watching my videos, and he did ask me a question, asking me, how have my miles been? How consistent have my miles been recently? And I told him that they've been very consistent over the last couple of months, but for him, he says, you know, it's hit or miss, right? It's been inconsistent. And pretty much the advice I gave him was to contact his dispatcher, have a conversation with him or her and see what's going on, and then or talk to management, go above your dispatcher and talk to the dispatcher's boss. That is what I would do if you're experiencing inconsistencies with miles. That's what I would do before quitting and switching companies. But that being said, something to consider, and this is for all drivers that have come to Crete, this is for all drivers, period, no matter what company you're at. You got to understand something, that the trucking industry for the first 4 months of this year was in a recession. And I would even consider for summertime, it's pretty slow for summertime. It's way more consistent. Like the last 2 months have been really good for me personally. I'm back to averaging 12,000 miles plus a month, okay? Now, the first 8 months of working at Crete, I started in July of last year, and freight was really good last year. As far as at least contract freight running for a mega carrier, it was really good at Crete, it was. I was pre-planned on every single load. When I first started in July, I was pre-planned on before I ever got to any delivery on every load. I never had a problem staying loaded. I never had a problem getting loaded. I never had a problem getting my miles, ever. Okay? Never did. And that lasted from about July through February until the beginning of March of 2023. That is where things started to change and started to slow down. That is where I noticed that the pre-plans went, I started not to get pre-planned as often, and there was even times where I would deliver a load and have to wait until the next day to pick up. It was cutting into my average daily miles that I try to hit every day. I try to hit, on average, 500 miles a day. That's my goal each and every single day. Do I always hit that? No, but as long as I can average 500 miles a day, I'm doing really well, if I can do that throughout a 7-day period. Well, that did go down. So through the first 8 months, and by the way, Crete keeps track of this, you can actually look this up and pull these numbers up and see what your average rolling 12-month average, they call it, monthly miles are. You can see that, what your 12-month average is. And through the first 8 months, I averaged over 12,000 miles a month, which is 3,000 miles a week. If you divide 12,000 miles divided by 4 weeks in a month, I'm averaging 3,000 miles a week. Well, that monthly miles did go down for me in March and April of this year. I made about 10,000 miles a month for 2 months, and that's a significant drop-off compared to what I was used to making, because there were some months where I hit 13,000 miles, right? And I was just crushing it. And to experience, about 500 miles a week in, less miles, that's a huge hit to your income. 100% it is. And I'm not going to deny that. I did experience that for 2 months, but we were in a very, very bad freight market, 100%. And it's not very hard to research that fact. And so, even though that was frustrating, dealing with not getting as many miles as I was used to, I still stuck it out because I knew, hey, it's probably going to be slow until the summertime. And it ended up being that way, okay? And so I would say the last 2 months, since about really middle of May and until now, pretty much the beginning of August almost, I would say that I've gotten back to norm. It's gotten back to normal, to where I'm pre-planned, I'm running every day, I'm hitting that average daily mileage that I'm trying to hit every day. My goal of 500 miles a day, I'm hitting that again. And I've been making 12,000 miles a month. I have. It's way better now than it was for those 2 months. That is my experience. Other drivers at Crete may say, hey, you know, it took a little while longer for me to start hitting those miles again. I haven't started hitting those miles until about a month ago. Everybody has a different dispatcher. Everybody has, you know, different load planners that work on their truck. So, but for me, that's been my experience, okay? But there was a slowdown, no doubt about it. There was a slowdown, and my miles did take a hit. For 2 straight months, they took a hit. I still made good money, but it wasn't nearly what I was making the first 8 months of working here, okay? But that being said, if Crete was experiencing that issue, then so was every other company. And that was just a fact. It was. The beginning of this year was not that great. It wasn't. But things are better now, and I do think things are going to be good all the way through until the end of the year, because we're going into the holiday season, and we all know trucking is seasonal, and, you know, freight's it has to move before the holidays. So we're going to be good until the end of the year. We're going to be good. After that, who the heck knows? Who the heck knows? Hopefully we don't experience what we experienced at the beginning of this year. We probably will, especially if the Federal Reserve doesn't cut interest rates by the end of the year. Yeah, we're probably going to have the same situation. Maybe even worse. I don't know. So what I'm doing is I'm going to maximize my time now until the end of the year, and I'm going to be stacking cash in case we experience another situation like we did this year. Because that was pretty tough. It was. But it's a lot better now for me. And here, if you're at any company though, understand, trucking is in a recession. It is. Freight volumes are down year over year. They're still down year over year from summer of last year. Trucking has slowed down. The trucking industry has slowed down. It's a lot better now because it's summer, like I said, going in to the holidays, all the way through the holidays, it should be pretty good. But that is why it was a struggle this year. And that was affecting every company out there, not just Crete. Crete is a mega carrier with nothing but contract freight, okay? And if they were being affected, so was everybody else. Mid-sized companies, small-sized companies, the entire industry was being affected, okay? And so that is why I didn't quit my job. I'm not going to go to a different company and experience the same situation. That's stupid. It's not that my dispatcher didn't want to keep me moving. It's that, you know, they got so many trucks to dispatch, they've got to try to keep everybody happy. That's the way that works. And when freight slows down, you know, it's tougher to get you those miles. They'll still get you the miles, but if it slows down like it did at the beginning of the year, it's a lot tougher to do that. I wouldn't quit if it's just that, hey, that's just the way the economy is right now. I wouldn't quit my job. Now, if we're in a boom cycle and your miles are terrible because you have a terrible dispatcher and load planner and all that, then yeah, that's when you quit your job. You quit when there's no excuses. But the beginning of this year, you know, there was an excuse for that. I mean, a legitimate reason. It wasn't even really an excuse. There is a reason why your miles went down, 100%. So I have to say that because a lot of people, you know, it stresses a lot of people out, and I totally understand it. I totally understand it. But that's the way it is. That's the way it's been. And it's way better now. I did make a video about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, talking about how I've noticed that things are starting to pick back up, and they're a lot better now. And as far as Crete goes, things are back to normal for me personally. It may be a different experience for you, but it's way better now than it was 2 months ago. That's my experience, but all I'll say is don't job hop thinking the grass is greener on the other side. No matter what company you're at, whether you're at Crete or a different company, it may not be the case where the grass is greener on the other side. You may just have to stick it out for a couple of months and see if things improve. If they don't ever improve, obviously you have a CDL, go to a different company where you're going to get better miles and better pay, 100%. Don't sit around and wait for 6 months, but maybe, give it a month or two and see if things improve. That's what I did, and that's what I would recommend pretty much anybody do, 100%. But don't get into this habit of job hopping if you have a week or two where it's not going that great. So anyway, because in the long run, that's not really good for your trucking career. It's not. So that's all I have to say for today. God bless. Thank you everyone for watching, and peace out.